Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Fraer versus Marine here on Shakura's Plateau. Roxkis is Fraer spawning as the green Protoss player on the bottom left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, all the way on the other side of the map we have mousesports Marine. So Marine versus Fraer, a Terran versus Protoss on Shakura's Plateau. I do believe this is a best of 3. And we'll go ahead and get this game underway. Now, Terran versus Protoss, one of those matchups where we've seen obviously a lot, especially on Shakura's Plateau, as Terran players like to do a lot of drops. With the amount of dead space and open space around the map, Stalkers cannot get underneath, and Terran players are really good at attacking with a small number of units and dealing a fairly large amount of damage. Down over here we are going to see Fraer opening up with pretty much a standard pylon here. He is not going to be going for that forge fast expansion as he normally does against Zerg, as this game is getting underway, unless he is trying to do the Sase style where the first pylon is here and then the second pylon is a little bit low, is on the low ground, and you have that backup pylon just in case. Nope, it is going to be a gateway first. Most likely will be a gateway core followed by a pylon nexus. Meanwhile, taking a look over here at Marine may be trying to go for one Rax expand. One Rax expand, very common nowadays, as we should be seeing the barracks. Marines should be able to jump inside a bunker here, get up an expansion very quickly, and pretty much try to shut down Fraer if he does anything all in. A simulator is already being warped in. There is that second pylon. Cybernex core should be warped in as soon as this gateway is done. We'll see if Fraer does go for that early Zealot for a little bit of scouting pressure and a little bit more map control. First scout on the map, Marine going to quickly find that his opponent is not going to be close by air spawns. And with this, Marine, I believe, made the correct decision in not trying to go, say, Banshees. Banshees normally a very strong opening on a map when you do spawn north-north on the north side of the map with your opponent. But that's not going to be the case here, as we now see a command center already being built. One Marine currently at the ramp. Any Zealots that do make their way out will be dealing with about 3 Marines by the time the Zealot does get over into that position. And Marine just walking around, getting in a lot of important information here. Let's take a look. The SCV looks like it did escape down to 13 hit points. It does move a little bit more quickly than that Zealot can chase it. And with a bunker now being established, I believe that this one Zealot will not be able to do much, if any, damage. We should be... Nope, no add-on here, as we are going into a second Marine finally. Command Center is about halfway done, and I'm curious as to what Fraer is going for. Fraer feels like he is a little bit behind, spending an additional barracks here. There you go, getting up that additional barracks, getting up the 2 refineries now. So this is going to be a 2 racks with 2 refineries, as a typical 3 racks that we normally see. And will he have enough units to fend off any sort of aggression? Command Center already done, or will be done in just a second, should be upgraded to an orbital command. Refinery, is he going to be placing 3 SCVs on gas per refinery? Yes, he will be, as we now see 3 Marines just holding down the bottom portion of the ramp. And now we are going into 4 gateways. So far, no Nexus has been placed in. You can see that Fraer has decided to stop his pro production at 24, which pretty much tells that it is going to be an all-in strategy. Stalker getting off a kill there. The Zealot Zealot taking a little bit of actual damage, and now we need to see more and more units coming out from Marine. Otherwise, one proxy pylon, and this could be a very devastating story. You can see the Stalker almost able to get inside there, switching the damage a little bit further. A second bunker now being placed down, and Fraer, without any information on the high ground, will have to be very careful. We are going into a robotics facility. We could be going into Blink Stalkers with perhaps a warp prism for sight up onto the high ground and reinforcements. Back over here, there is that robotics facility being built in a location which is not going to be normally scanned or even scouted. Oh, does he actually scan it? Let's see, take a look at the front door, and yes, he does spot the facility right there. If you didn't notice, if you didn't know, the scanner sweep is actually a lot larger in terms of sight radius than the animation shows you. That is going to be fixed in Heart of the Swarm, where you actually see how much information is revealed. Stalkers are now being warped in. Blink about halfway completed. We should be getting an observer already moving across the map here. And this is going to be a problem for Marine. Marine cannot engage against this many Stalkers without the cover of bunkers. There's going to be one Marauder, double Marauders now being trained. So double Tech Labs. I love this play by Marine, but is he going to get enough units in time? Combat shield now being added, not even bothering with concussive shells, as we are now warping in units down onto the low ground. Pylon now will be warping up onto the high ground as well. A small area right there, as the Stalkers should be able to smart blink their way up in just a second. Here we go, blinking up and now engaging Stalkers, Marines, and Marauders going back and forth. The sheer number of Stalkers is going to be too much, as the Stalkers are being very careful and blinking away from the action. We should be perhaps seeing some Zealots joining on the fight, as the SCVs now making their way in, and the Zealots are going to be a perfect damage sink, but they're going after the SCVs instead. The Stalkers are now continuing to battle it out. More units are engaging. The Stalkers can easily blink back down. Yes, now down on the low ground, trying to take down the bunker. One bunker is going to burn. Yes, one final shot off there, as the Stalkers are just pulling away and now healing back even further. Beautiful blink micro, as more Zealots have warped in. We are going to see another round of aggression, and now just attacking two places at once. Marine was not ready for this sort of crazy aggressive play, and without Stim, without concussive shells, this is going to be a very difficult army to battle up against. He should have scouted out that there was no expansion, and without the expansion, needed to really train up a lot more units. Marines are engaging. The Stalkers are trying to back away once again. Oh, beautiful blink micro once more, and just peeling away the Stalkers that have no more shield, and now blinking forward to deal more damage to those Marauders as well. Zealot now charging forward. Stalkers are going to engage here. Who's going to come out on top? Stalkers with blink micro, doing a great job there. Marauders now trying to run away once more, but I believe Fraer is going to get the upper hand in this battle. And this really came down to the fact that Marine didn't really scout. Marine, I believe, made his way over. He saw that there was a scanner sweep. He saw that there was a robotics facility, was not a nexus at the natural expansion. But by that time, it was too little too late. Nothing really going on over here in this neck of the woods. We're seeing the Stalkers still trying to engage. Marine perhaps trying to do a little bit of a last-ditch effort, hoping that his opponent didn't set up another nexus, but there is the GG, and Marine was just so far behind by not doing any scouting. Scouting and information always very critical and key in StarCraft 2, as it lets you know what your opponent is trying to do. One bunker on the high ground, perhaps more Marines would have been a much better choice here, as the Marines would have been effective against both Stalkers and Zealots. But this was a primarily Stalker army. Stim was researched, but it was a little bit late, and that third barracks was placed down a little bit later than normal. That could have affected the overall army count. Marine needed to scout out one base all in, pretty much coming in from Fraer, coming back strong, and now we will be moving on to Game 2. Stay tuned for Game 2 in this series between Marine and Fraer, another Protoss versus Terran.